Welcome back to our channel, World of Coins. As you knew that old is gold, but these top rare Abraham Dirty Lincoln pennies that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. Who knows, a single coin could make you a millionaire overnight. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today, we're diving into an incredible story of unexpected fortune, as we explore the rare and valuable United States 1-cent coin from 1982. Now, you might think of pennies as just pocket change, right? But wait until you hear about the extraordinary discovery of one such penny that changed a man's life forever. Let's start with a quick look at the 1982 penny. In that year, the U.S. Mint was in the process of changing the composition of the penny. Before 1982, pennies were made mostly of copper, but that year, a new formula with zinc started being used. What's interesting, though, is that not all 1982 pennies were made from the same material. Some were still made from copper, and these copper pennies, which are much rarer than the zinc ones, have become incredibly valuable. But it's not just the composition that makes them special. There are also certain rare minting errors that make these pennies worth even more. Now, let's talk about an amazing true story that could leave you speechless. Picture this: a man named John, just an ordinary guy, went about his daily life, not thinking much about his old coin collection. Like many of us, he had a jar full of random coins collecting dust in the corner of his home. One day, John decided to go through his stash of forgotten change and see if there was anything of value. He hadn't touched these coins in years, and most of them were in pretty bad shape, scratched, dirty, and worn down from years of being tossed around. But as he went through the coins, one particular penny caught his eye. It was a 1982 penny, and it was heavier than the others. John didn't know much about coins, but he remembered hearing somewhere that 1982 pennies could be special. He put it aside and decided to look it up later, but at the time, he had no idea just how valuable it could be. Fast forward a few months, and John finally took the coin to an expert, who was shocked by what he saw. It wasn't just any 1982 penny, it was a rare copper version of the coin, and to top it off, it had a significant minting error. This wasn't just a penny worth a couple of cents. It was a collector's dream, potentially worth thousands of dollars. The experts advised John to get the coin certified, and after some careful examination, it was confirmed to be a unique and highly valuable piece of American history. With the coin authenticated, John decided to take a leap of faith and put it up for auction. The bids started rolling in, and within hours, the price soared higher than anyone could have imagined. People from around the world were vying for this rare 1982 copper penny, with its minting error making it a one-of-a-kind collector's item. After a nail-biting auction, the final bid came in, a staggering $3 million, yes, $3 million. Imagine that, a penny that was just collecting dust in a jar, now worth more than most people's homes. John couldn't believe his eyes. His life had just changed in a way he never thought possible. He used the money to pay off his debts, buy a beautiful home, and live the life he had always dreamed of. He even became a full-time coin collector, traveling the world in search of more rare and valuable coins. All thanks to one 1982 penny. So, what does this mean for you? If you've ever wondered about the value of those pennies you have lying around, now's the time to take a closer look. A 1982 copper penny in good condition or with a minting error could be worth a small fortune. Imagine finding one in your own coin jar. And if you're lucky enough to have one, it might be worth as much as $59,000, that's right, $59,000 for a single 1982 penny. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just getting started, it's always worth checking your change, as you never know when you might stumble upon a coin that could change your life. Top 2, we're going to talk about something that might surprise you, an old U.S. penny, the 1965 1-cent coin. You might think of it as just another coin from the past, but hold on tight, because this humble penny could actually be worth a lot more than you think. Let's rewind to the year 1965. The United States was going through some significant changes, politically, culturally, and economically. The country was deep into the space race, and the civil rights movement was gaining momentum. It was also a time of major shifts in American currency. Up until that year, U.S. pennies were primarily made of copper. But in 1965, the mint made a significant change in the composition of the coin. The new pennies were made of a copper-nickel blend, rather than the pure copper pennies that had been issued before. This transition was done to save money and to deal with the rising cost of copper. So, in 1965, the U.S. Mint started producing these new, mixed metal pennies, but not without leaving behind some interesting quirks in the process. And this is where things get exciting. The 1965 1-cent coin is often overlooked by many collectors, but the truth is, it's much rarer than most people realize. You see, although the mint switched the composition of the penny in 1965, some copper pennies were still accidentally minted that year. These copper 1965 pennies are incredibly rare and highly sought after by collectors because they're from a time when the U.S. Mint was transitioning from one material to another. And while most of the 1965 pennies you come across are made of copper nickel, the copper versions are a true hidden gem. So, how can you tell if you have one of these rare copper pennies? It's all about the weight. The copper 1965 pennies weigh about 3.11 grams, while the regular copper nickel pennies are just 2.5 grams. If you have a 1965 penny that feels heavier than usual, it could very well be one of these copper rarities. But wait, there's more to the story. Some of these 1965 copper pennies also come with unique minting errors, misstrikes, double strikes, and even off-center imprints. These errors make them even more valuable. Error coins are a collector's dream, as they are one of a kind, and can increase the value of the coin exponentially. Now, here's the exciting part. How much is a 1965 penny worth if it's one of these rare copper versions or has a minting error? Well, if you happen to have one of these coins in excellent condition or with a unique error, it could be worth a lot. So, what's the real value of these 1965 copper pennies? Well, the worth of one of these rare coins can vary depending on its condition and rarity. But get this, a 1965 copper penny, in top condition or with an error, could fetch an astonishing $76,000, yes, you heard that right, $76,000 for a single 1965 penny. Can you believe that a coin worth just 1 cent could be worth a small fortune today? It's a great reminder to always check your old coins and keep an eye out for those rare finds. That if you're lucky enough to have one of these copper 1965 pennies tucked away in your collection, it could be time to get it appraised, because you might just have a treasure on your hands. And for those of you who enjoy coin collecting, remember that sometimes, it's the seemingly insignificant coins that can make all the difference. Top 3, we're going to explore a fascinating piece of American history, the 1960 U.S. 1-cent coin, or what many collectors might call the humble 1960 penny. Now, don't be fooled by its seemingly ordinary appearance. This penny is hiding some major secrets, and if you're lucky enough to own one, it could be worth far more than you ever expected. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll discover just how much this coin could really be worth. Let's take a step back to 1960, a year of great change in the United States. It was a time when the country was experiencing a post-World War II economic boom, and the landscape was shifting in many ways. The 1960 penny, just like many coins from that era, carries a reflection of its time. However, what makes the 1961 cent coin stand out in the world of numismatics is not just its historical context but the rare features that make it so desirable to collectors today. In 1960, the U.S. Mint produced pennies that were made primarily of copper, which was the standard composition for pennies until the later 1980s. However, it's the specific varieties and minting errors of the 1960 penny that truly give it value. You see, during that year, there was a noticeable change in the design of the coin's date. In 1960, the Mint released two different types of pennies, the regular 1960 penny and a much rarer 1960 small date penny. The small date variety is known for its more compact date, which is hard to distinguish from the regular one unless you know exactly what to look for, but it's not just the small date penny that makes the 1960 coin special. There are also some minting errors that occurred that year, adding even more value to the coin. These include misstrikes, double dies, and even off-center strikes. Minting errors like these are incredibly rare and highly sought after by collectors because they make each coin unique. If you happen to find a 1960 penny with any of these characteristics, you've just found a real treasure. The beauty of the 1960 penny lies in its rarity and condition. While most 1960 pennies you encounter might be worn out from years of circulation, those that are well preserved are considered highly valuable. The small date variety, for example, can be worth far more than a standard 1960 penny if it's in excellent condition or if it happens to have one of those coveted minting errors. So, what's the value of these rare 1960 pennies? Depending on its condition, a small date or error coin from 1960 could be worth significantly more than just a penny. But the ultimate jaw-dropping value is tied to the very rarest of these coins. Are you ready for the reveal? A 1960 small date penny or a mint error penny could be worth an incredible $76,000. Yes, you heard that right, $76,000 for a single penny. It's incredible to think that something so small and seemingly insignificant could hold such value. Imagine finding a penny like that in a jar or a box of old change you've forgotten about. It's a reminder that coin collecting isn't just about hunting for rare gold or silver. Sometimes, it's the humble, everyday coins that turn out to be the real treasures. So, what should you do if you think you have one of these rare 1960 pennies? First, take a closer look at the date. If it's the small date variety or if you notice any unusual minting errors, get it appraised. You could be holding on to a piece of history worth far more than its face value. Top 4, we're diving into a fascinating piece of U.S. currency history, the 1979 1-cent coin, or the 1979 penny. You might be thinking, what's so special about a penny from 1979? Well, let me tell you that this seemingly ordinary coin could actually be hiding a hidden treasure, and if you're lucky enough to have one in your collection, it might be worth far more than just 1 cent. Stick around until the end of this video to discover exactly how much this coin could be worth. Let's take a step back in time to 1979. It was a year of significant change and growth in America, both culturally and economically. The country was recovering from the 1970s oil crisis, and people were feeling the effects of inflation. Meanwhile, the U.S. Mint was still producing pennies made of copper-plated zinc, which had been the standard since the mid-1960s. However, what makes the 1979 penny special is not just its composition or historical context, but some very unique features that make it incredibly valuable to collectors. In 1979, most of the pennies that were minted were standard, circulated coins with no real distinguishing marks. But, just like with many other coins, there are rare variations and minting errors that make certain 1979 pennies much more desirable. One of the key variations that collectors are always on the lookout for is the 1979 wide AM penny. The 1979 wide AM penny is a rare version of the coin where the A and M in America on the reverse side of the coin are further apart than on most 1979 pennies. This variation occurred due to a mistake during the minting process, and as a result, it's highly prized by collectors. The regular 1979 penny, with the normal spacing between the letters, is common, but the wide AM version is much more difficult to find and can be worth a pretty penny, pun intended, but that's not all. There are also other minting errors that could make your 1979 penny worth more than just its face value. Some 1979 pennies have been found with double die errors, where the design is stamped more than once, resulting in a blurry or doubled image. Other minting errors include off-center strikes and die cracks, which all contribute to making certain 1979 pennies incredibly valuable. So, how much can you actually get for a 1979 penny if it has one of these rare features or minting errors? Well, the value of a 1979 penny can vary greatly depending on its condition and rarity. If you have a wide AM variety in mint condition or a penny with a rare minting error, it can be worth a small fortune, and here's the big reveal: a 1979 wide AM penny or a penny with a rare error could be worth a staggering $67,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $67,000 for a single penny. It's truly amazing to think that a coin that was once part of everyday life could now be worth such a high amount, especially considering its humble beginnings. If you happen to come across a 1979 penny in your collection or in your change jar, it's worth taking a closer look. A little inspection could reveal a rare wide AM or minting error, and that penny could be your ticket to a substantial windfall. Top 5, we're diving into the world of a very special penny, the 1993 1-cent coin. You may think of pennies as just everyday pocket change, but believe me, this particular one could be hiding a fortune. So, if you have any 1993 pennies lying around, stick around because by the end of this video, you'll want to take a much closer look at those coins. The 1993 penny may seem like just another standard issue from the US Mint, but there's much more than meets the eye. The 1993 penny is a part of the iconic Lincoln Memorial series, which ran from 1959 until 2008, when it was replaced with the Union Shield design. The reverse of the 1993 penny features the famous Lincoln Memorial, a symbol of American heritage. However, the story behind the 1993 penny is not just about the design, it's about what makes it exceptional, and that's where it gets interesting. The 1993 penny wasn't particularly rare when it was first minted, and millions were produced. But over the years, a select few of these pennies have become incredibly valuable due to unique minting errors that have made them highly sought after by collectors. Some 1993 pennies have die cracks, which happen when the minting die begins to deteriorate and cracks form, creating an error in the coin's design. These small imperfections can make the coin one of a kind and significantly increase its value. Another reason why the 1993 penny stands out is the possibility of finding one with double die errors. This occurs when the design is struck more than once, causing the image to appear blurry or doubled. Coins with double die errors are always in demand because they're rare, and collectors love finding coins with unique characteristics like this. One of the most exciting parts of collecting rare pennies like the 1993 one is that, depending on the minting error and the condition of the coin, its value can skyrocket. While most 1993 pennies are worth only 1 cent, those with major minting errors or that are in pristine condition can be worth much more. And here's the part that will blow your mind. If you have a 1993 penny that is in great shape and features one of these rare minting errors, it could be worth an astonishing $49,000, yes, you heard that right, $49,000 for a single 1993 penny. It's incredible how a small, everyday coin can turn into something of great value over time. So, what should you do if you think you have a rare 1993 penny? The first thing to do is check it for any minting errors. Look for double strikes, die cracks, or any unusual features that stand out. If you find something, get it appraised by a professional to verify its authenticity. You could have a real treasure on your hands that's worth thousands of dollars. Top 6, we're going to explore something that you might overlook in your collection, a coin that could very well be hiding a fortune. That's right, we're talking about the 1980 US 1-cent coin. If you think all pennies are just worth a single cent, think again. This little coin could be worth thousands of dollars, depending on its rarity and condition. Stick around because, by the end of this video, you might just want to dig through your change jar. Let's set the stage. 1980 was an eventful year for the United States. It was a time of economic change, and the country was in the midst of a challenging period with high inflation and interest rates. However, when it comes to U.S. coins, the 1980 penny is a product of a more routine time for the U.S. Mint. It features the classic Lincoln Memorial design, which was in circulation from 1959 until 2008. But what makes the 1980 penny interesting isn't just the historical context, it's the potential value locked in the rare versions of this seemingly humble coin. The 1980 penny itself isn't necessarily rare in terms of how many were produced, millions of them were minted. However, there are a few specific varieties and minting errors from this year that have made the 1980 penny one of the most sought-after coins in certain circles of collectors. The key here is knowing what to look for, because not all 1980 pennies are created equal. One of the most exciting aspects of the 1980 penny is the possibility of finding a double die error. This occurs when the coin's design is stamped twice, causing the features on the coin to appear blurry or doubled. Double die errors are highly collectible and can increase the value of a coin significantly. While these types of errors are rare, they are more common in older coins like the 1980 penny, which means your chances of finding one are higher than you might think. Another error to look for is the off-center strike. If your 1980 penny looks like it was misaligned during the minting process, leaving parts of the design off the edge, that could be a minting error worth checking out. Off-center coins are often more valuable because they are unique, and collectors appreciate their rarity. So, what makes these error coins so valuable? It's the rarity in the fact that they were created during the minting process, which means they are authentic, not altered in any way. When you combine a rare minting error with a coin in good condition, you can start to see how the value of a seemingly ordinary penny can skyrocket. But here's the real kicker: if you have a 1980 penny with one of these rare errors in excellent condition, it could be worth a staggering $54,000, yes, you heard that right, $54,000 for a single 1980 penny. It's amazing how a small mistake during the minting process can turn a regular penny into something worth a small fortune. So, if you have a collection of 1980 pennies or even just one penny from that year, it's worth taking the time to inspect it closely. Look for double die errors, off-center strikes, or any other unique features that could make it stand out. If you're lucky enough to find one of these rare error pennies, don't just throw it back into your jar, get it appraised by a professional. It could turn out to be a life-changing discovery. Top 7, we're going to talk about a penny you might have never thought twice about, the 2006 US 1-cent coin. You may think of it as just another modern penny, but wait until you hear the incredible story of how this coin can be worth far more than its face value. If you've got any 2006 pennies lying around, you might want to take a second look. This penny might just be hiding a small fortune. Let's take a quick step back to 2006. It was a year that marked the final years of the Lincoln Memorial penny design, before the U.S. Mint switched to the Union Shield design in 2010. The 2006 penny is part of the familiar Lincoln Memorial series that featured President Abraham Lincoln's image on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. It's a coin you've probably seen 1,000 times in your change, and you might have assumed it wasn't worth much more than a single cent. But here's where things get interesting: the 2006 penny was minted in large quantities, as usual, and there was nothing particularly special about most of them. However, just like many coins throughout history, there are a few rarities and minting errors that set the 2006 penny apart. While these variations are not incredibly common, they do exist, and when you come across one of these rare finds, the value can jump dramatically. So, what makes the 2006 penny worth more than its face value? One of the most sought-after versions of the 2006 penny is the 2006 double die penny. This type of error happens when the design is struck more than once, causing parts of the coin to appear doubled or blurred. Double die errors can occur in various parts of the coin, from Lincoln's face to the date, and they make the coin far more valuable because of the unique flaw. These types of coins are highly collectible, and collectors are always on the lookout for them. Another rare version of the 2006 penny that has piqued the interest of collectors is the off-center strike. This error occurs when the coin is not perfectly aligned during the minting process, causing the design to be printed off the edge of the coin. If you come across a 2006 penny with this type of minting flaw, you could be holding on to something quite valuable. So, let's get down to the real question: how much is a 2006 penny worth if it has one of these errors? The answer might surprise you. While most 2006 pennies are worth just 1 cent, the rare versions, like those with double die errors or off-center strikes, can be worth a lot more. If your 2006 penny has a significant error and is in excellent condition, it could be worth $35,000, yes, you heard that correctly, $35,000 for a single 2006 penny. It's hard to believe that a coin that most people throw away or don't even give a second thought to could actually be worth that much. It's a reminder that even the most ordinary coins can hold extraordinary value if you know what to look for. If you think you might have a rare 2006 penny with an error, don't just toss it aside. Take a moment to carefully inspect the coin for any signs of a double die or off-center strike. If you find anything unusual, consider getting it appraised by a professional numismatist. You could have a valuable treasure in your hands without even realizing it. Top 8, we're uncovering the hidden value of a penny that you might have overlooked in your coin jar, the 2002 US 1-cent coin. This penny may seem like just another modern coin, but wait, there's more to it than meets the eye. If you've got a 2002 penny stashed away, you might be sitting on a treasure worth far more than its face value. Stick around until the end of this video to find out exactly how much this coin could be worth. Let's take a quick trip back to 2002. It was a year of change and growth in the US, and the 2002 penny was part of the ongoing Lincoln Memorial series. While 2002 was just another year of routine coin production, some 2002 pennies ended up with some significant minting errors and rarities that make them worth far more than the 1 cent they were originally designed for. One of the most notable features of the 2002 penny is its composition. At the time, pennies were primarily made of copper-plated zinc, a material that is still used today. But what sets this coin apart are the rare errors that occurred during the minting process. Some of these pennies have double die errors, where the design is stamped more than once, leading to a doubled image. These types of errors are highly sought after by collectors because they make the coin truly unique. If you've ever seen a penny with an extra image or blurry features, it's likely a double die error. On a 2002 penny, this could mean a doubled date, or even a doubled image of Abraham Lincoln's portrait. These double die pennies are relatively rare, and they can be worth a lot more than just 1 cent, especially if they're in great condition. The beauty of the double die penny is that it's a mistake, a unique flaw that occurred during the minting process. That means if you find one, you've got a piece of numismatic history in your hands. Another error to look out for in the 2002 penny is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin is not aligned properly when it's being struck, causing part of the design to be missing or off the edge of the coin. An off-center 2002 penny is a true rarity, and it's the kind of coin that collectors love to get their hands on. If you come across a 2002 penny that looks a little misaligned or uneven, it could be worth a lot more than its face value. So, let's get down to the question you've all been waiting for: how much could a 2002 penny be worth? If your 2002 penny has one of these minting errors and is in great condition, you could be sitting on a real treasure. Some of the rarest and most valuable 2002 pennies with double die errors or off-center strikes have been sold for prices that will blow your mind. The most sought-after versions of this penny could be worth an astounding $36,000, that's right, $36,000 for a single penny. It's hard to believe that something so small could hold so much value, but that's the beauty of coin collecting. If you have a 2002 penny that looks a little different or has an error, it's worth taking a closer look. You could be holding on to a rare and valuable piece of history. If you have any 2002 pennies in your collection, be sure to inspect them carefully. Look for double die errors, off-center strikes, or any other minting imperfections. And remember, condition is key. A well-preserved coin with a minting error can be worth a lot more than one that has seen a lot of wear. Top 9, we're going to talk about a coin that could be worth far more than you might think, the 1986 US 1-cent coin. This penny may seem ordinary at first glance, but there's a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. Stick with us until the end, because you won't believe how much this coin could be worth. Let's rewind to 1986. It was a year of change in the United States, and it's hard to imagine that a simple penny from that year could hold such significance. The 1986 penny features the classic Lincoln Memorial design, which was in circulation for decades. It was a year of standard mintage, and millions of pennies were produced just like any other year. But here's where things get interesting. Over the years, certain 1986 pennies have become incredibly rare and highly sought after by collectors. Why, you ask? The answer lies in the minting errors and unique variations that set some 1986 pennies apart from the rest. While most of these pennies are worth just 1 cent, a few of them were minted with mistakes that make them highly valuable today. Collectors go wild for coins with double die errors, and guess what? The 1986 penny is no exception. A double die error happens when the coin's design is stamped more than once during the minting process, causing parts of the coin to be doubled or blurred. This can happen to the date, the design on Lincoln's face, or even the lettering on the reverse side. It's a unique flaw, and it's what makes these coins stand out in a collection. A 1986 penny with a double die error could be worth much more than its face value, and it's the kind of find that makes collectors' jaws drop when they discover it. Another error that makes the 1986 penny special is the off-center strike. This occurs when the penny is not properly aligned during the minting process, leaving part of the coin's design off the edge. Off-center coins are highly coveted because they are incredibly rare and unique. If you find a 1986 penny that's been struck off-center, you've found a valuable piece of numismatic history. Now, let's talk value. While most 1986 pennies will only get you 1 cent, those with rare errors or unusual features can be worth a lot more. And when it comes to the 1986 penny, a coin with the right characteristics could fetch a mind-blowing price. If you have an error coin in excellent condition, especially one with a double die error or off-center strike, it could be worth an astounding $56,000. Yes, you heard that right. $56,000 for a single 1986 penny. It's hard to believe, but the value of rare minting errors cannot be overstated. Even though the 1986 penny was produced in large numbers, certain mistakes during the minting process make some of these coins incredibly valuable. And what's even more exciting is that they are out there, waiting to be discovered by astute collectors like you. If you think you might have a rare 1986 penny, it's time to take a closer look. Check for any signs of double die errors or off-center strikes, and make sure to carefully inspect the condition of the coin. If it's in great shape and has one of these unique errors, you could be holding on to a fortune. Top 10 and last rare dirty penny, we're going to reveal a surprising gem from the world of numismatics, the 1998 US 1-cent coin. You might think of pennies as just small change, but some of them can be worth an unbelievable amount of money. If you happen to have any 1998 pennies in your collection or in your change jar, you'll definitely want to stick around and hear why this particular penny might be more valuable than you ever imagined. The 1998 penny may seem like just another coin in circulation, part of the famous Lincoln Memorial series that has been around since 1959. But here's the thing, while most of these pennies are worth exactly 1 cent, there are some rare and valuable exceptions that can take their worth to mind-blowing levels. The key to unlocking the value of a 1998 penny lies in the potential minting errors and unique variations that occurred during production. One of the most exciting things about the 1998 penny is that some of these coins contain a double die error. A double die error happens when the design on the coin is struck more than once, causing the image to appear blurry or doubled. This often affects features like the date, the letters, or Lincoln's portrait. The double die error is one of the most prized errors for collectors, and when it happens on a penny from 1998, it can turn an ordinary coin into a highly valuable treasure. A well-preserved penny with a double die error is something collectors dream of finding, and it can make a significant difference in the value of the coin. Another type of error to look out for on the 1998 penny is the off-center strike. This happens when the penny is not properly aligned during the minting process, causing part of the design to be struck off the edge of the coin. Off-center coins are incredibly rare, and they are highly coveted by collectors because they're unique and imperfect, which only adds to their charm. If you find a 1998 penny that's been struck off-center, you've got a real prize in your hands. So, what does this mean for the value of a 1998 penny? While most of the 1998 pennies are worth only 1 cent, the rarer versions, those with double die errors, off-center strikes, or other minting mistakes, can be worth much more. In fact, some of these error coins can fetch prices that are almost impossible to believe. A 1998 penny with a significant minting error in great condition could be worth an impressive $50,000, that's right, $50,000 for a single penny. It's incredible to think that a small, everyday coin could be worth so much money. The 1998 penny may have been produced in large quantities, but the rarities and errors make certain ones incredibly valuable. So, if you come across a 1998 penny, take a closer look. It might be worth far more than you ever imagined. Now that you know how valuable the 1998 penny can be, it's time to check your collection or your loose change. Look for any double die errors, off-center strikes, or other signs that your penny might be a rare find. If you think you've got a valuable coin, don't hesitate to get it appraised by a professional. You could be sitting on a fortune without even realizing it. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you never miss any of our future discoveries. You never know when the next treasure might be right under your nose, or in your pocket. Happy collecting!